Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy Presents our MLB DFS Pitcher Picks for Thursday, May 25th, 2017. Just another week left in May, and we will be headed right into the start of the CFL season. I don't know how important that is for everyone. I like it. It's just something else to keep me busy on the weekend. Always fun to have something in the summer to be a change up from baseball. I think we're spoiled, especially through the fall, where we have football, basketball, hockey, golf, NASCAR. We just have a lot of different things that we can do during that time. Once summer hits, baseball or bust, and especially if it's not a sport that you particularly like, it can be a little bit draining. But we're going to focus right now on our top 3 tournament options. I decided to just do this for the night slate. The article I wrote does cover the day slate. I think we're sitting with 5 and 5, and if you play all day, you get the extra bonus game of the Indians and the Reds. I don't know why the Indians have so many 6-10 games this year, but they have a ton of them. So I'll get things started with Drew Pomeranz of the Boston Red Sox, 7,500, going up against the Texas Rangers. Rangers, not a great team on the road. Definitely gave Chris Sale a little more than I thought they would. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the podcast or the article, but, I mean, it was inevitable that Sale was going to give up a home run. I don't know what it is, but he's a high strikeout guy, but he can't get through outings shutting the other team down completely. Someone usually gets a piece of him. Mike Napoli did, as well as I think Joey Gallo had a single, RBI single. But all things considered, Drew Pomeranz has been not quite a train wreck, but as close as you can imagine. He actually has a huge upside with his strikeouts, but he allows more damage than Sale does, for obvious reasons. I mean, Chris Sale is a much better pitcher, but what I'm poorly trying to illustrate here is the fact that if Pomeranz is somehow able to shut this Rangers lineup down, he's a guy that can post 60 fantasy points because of the strikeout upside. But there's also a huge downside. Even though the Rangers might not be great at home, they lack some really threatening right-handed bats. I think that Pomeranz could definitely end up putting together a strong outing tonight. So he's option number 1. Option number 2 is actually a little bit tough for me. 2 guys at the top that certainly could get you where you need to go, but I'm actually going to go with Robbie Ray at 9,200. I wanted to go with Verlander because we know the Astros can struggle quite a bit, and if they're off, then Verlander could come through with a pretty nice outing. I just think that Robbie Ray is in a little bit of a better position. I know that the Brewers are a nightmare. They just don't, right now, balance out poorly against any type of pitching. I mean, they're hitting righties, they're hitting lefties, but Ray's a high strikeout guy. We know that the Brewers can be a high strikeout lineup. This game is out of Arizona, so he gets a small bump going to Milwaukee. I don't think it's anything that you're going to go crazy over. He's not pitching in Petco. He's not pitching in some of the other better pitcher parks, but it's still a little bit of a bump. I think that he should be able to navigate his way through the Brewers lineup tonight, and he makes a good pivot from what should be the obvious play for everyone on this slate in Jacob deGrom. deGrom taking on a San Diego Padres team that is exactly what we know they are. He's hit double-digit strikeouts or close in 5 outings this year. Typically, he does give up a couple of runs here or there, but I think he's another one of those pitchers that if everything falls right, he could approach 60 fantasy points tonight on FanDuel. That's a huge outing. I know the price is up there, and we do have some teams I want to target for bats, but I think we can find some cheap bats to make everything work out. In your cash games, I don't see any reason to go anywhere but deGrom. In tournaments, as usual, I mean, you might want to just hedge the fact that The Padres are a professional baseball team. Anything can happen in 162 games of baseball a year. If deGrom gets blown up at 60% ownership, you probably have a huge advantage over the field. I get that, so I don't mind fading him a little bit in tournaments. I'll have some exposure to him, but it just won't be across the board. So that'll wrap it up for now. Once again, our top 3 options for tournament pitching: Drew Pomeranz, Robbie Ray, Jacob deGrom. Thanks for watching today. Make sure to give the video the thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And we'll see you tomorrow.